well, District 16. There, this is one of those positions where if left unchecked, we pretty much put somebody in there and then come in comment and they just run on automatic until they retire.
I'm finna die too.
All the time, it's a position that doesn't have its effect or provide the services that it should for all communities. I mean, it's a numbers game. What is it, $136, $276?
Oh,
$800,000.
Yeah,
So
it
it's just little old you
is on.
out of 800,000 people. And that wonderful place that we call Tallahassee
Oh, I see what you
did
did.
a solid for us. They took districts that had a tendency to show where it's my home field. Don't have to decide. Yeah.
That's a good question. Tell me right there.
But they took the representation that we had and we showed that essentially where it would be representative of folks, more representative of folks who don't look like a lot of people in the room. And if I sound too biased, or if I'm sounding partisan, too bad, because it's the truth. There are a lot of duties that a U.S. member of the House represents. One of my first internships when I was in school many years ago was with eight times a person. And I just couldn't believe how far it goes. Somebody in the rear? I'm sorry. Sorry. Ms. Mayor, so without further ado, since we are running this ahead with our improvisation, we're going to not give, first of all, we want to welcome, Mr. Glenn Pearson to be here and be a part of us, here down with us. And we're gonna start out at 5 minutes.
okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I gotta follow, I can't, it's decision by committee. But then that also doing Q&A. So first and foremost, we're gonna just have you come up and have a seat here. But one of the things that we're gonna ask you to do is, I got some questions for you. She's got time.
Okay.
You
all right.
wanted it on your.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to sit? Oh, or you can stand. But, one of the things that we want to get to know a little bit about you, particularly with this newly formed district. And we want to know what benefits, features, and attributes you distinctly bring to your congressional district. Everybody, come on, give me my hand, Mr. Blanford.
Well, thank you so very much for allowing me to be here. It's a pleasure to be here today. And there are, as you know, 5 Democrats running for this position. So the person who will be able to be on the ballot in November, that'll be determined on Tuesday. I'm here and you're asking for your vote. And you probably, many of you, a few of you have, but many of you have not seen my face before. And you're wondering, why are you coming into my community asking me for your vote? Well, here's the reason why. Our governor, Ron DeSantis, decided to do this redistricting. And when he did that, he placed this community now within Congressional District 16 and took away your original representative. So you no longer have an incumbent. This is an open seat now. I am one of 5 Democrats running for this seat. And what makes me different from the other Democrats? Let me tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, I am a former news anchor and reporter. I've worked at television stations in major markets across the country: Detroit, Hartford, Connecticut, Kansas City, Boston, and Orlando, and New York City. That's the last place I worked. And I left broadcasting in 2010. My job was to ask the tough questions, tell the truth, investigate, uncover corruption, and hold the powerful accountable. That was my job, and I did that for nearly 30 years before I left television. That's exactly what I'm going to do when I get to DC on your behalf. Hold the powerful accountable, because that's not happening right now. Why is it not happening? Because we have a Congress that's supposed to stand up and make a difference for the American people. But this Republican-led Congress, instead of making a difference, they've confused the word difference with deference. And they defer to power. They defer to wealth, and they defer to one man. That's what's going on right now. No one is holding them to account. And we saw the results of that. We started to feel the effects of that here in this community and throughout the country when they allowed Trump to start imposing these tariffs all over the place, saying that all these foreign governments are going to pay so much money for it. No, we are. It's a tax. It's a tax on us, the consumer. We started paying higher prices. And then he chose to go to war with Iran. That was a war of choice. And what happened? The Strait of Hormuz got cut off. 20% of the world's oil supply goes through the Strait of Hormuz, including what it takes for fertilizer, diesel fuel. Everything is affecting our prices as they continue to go up and up and up. And what does this president say? Oh, we're in a golden age right now. The stock market is doing great. Try eating the stock market. It doesn't make any sense. We have a K-shaped economy. Those people at the very top, yeah, they're doing really, really well. The investor class, the Epstein class, they are doing great as it continues to go up. But the rest of us are on the downslope of that K-shaped economy. We are struggling. This government is rigged in favor of the super wealthy, well-connected, and big corporations, while the rest of us are told to do more with less. Get out of the way. We can change that. We change that when we lock arms and we get together and we make sure that the people in power, the people are more powerful than the people in power. Remember that. I got that from Devereaux. The people are more powerful than the people in power. When we are together, they keep us divided. And as long as they keep us divided, they continue to win. When they start getting these issues, when it comes to these cultural issues of transsexual athletes and things like that, these are things that make us argue against ourselves. We divide our power and we lose. The reason I'm running is because the system is rigged and we need to unrig it. We've got to get dark money out of politics, because right now, billionaires are buying their politicians. And when someone has a fatter checkbook than somebody else who has an idea, the checkbook wins and our ideas lose. We can make a difference. Let me tell you the programs I'm for. And how much time do I have left? 7 seconds, 6 seconds. You know what? You can pick me up on the question. Ask me what I'm for, and I'll answer. Okay.
What are you for?
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
1 minute.
All right, thank you. 1 minute. I am for programs that help people. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food assistance, programs that protect our elderly, our disabled, programs that protect our veterans and our environment. I have been endorsed by the State Progressive Caucus and the Environmental Caucus. I'm very proud of that. I am for Medicare for everyone, because healthcare is a human right, not a right just for the privileged few.
I got one more.
Yes, I'm ready.
What exactly is your seat?
Here, so everybody can hear.
What exactly does your seat do? Like, what is your seat requirements? What do your position do?
What is my position here? The House of Representatives, Congress people are there to write laws.
Mm.
And also, it's a part of the checks and balances in order to make sure it's an equal branch of government. So what Congress is supposed to do is make sure it has oversight over the executive branch. And that's what we see not happening right now. This Congress is just laying down and allowing the executive branch, and I'm talking about one orange man in particular, to do anything he wants to do. And this is why we are suffering. This person is more concerned with a ballroom, more concerned with an arch, all of these things to give attention and glory to him and forget about the rest of us. Congress can make a difference. Congress can put a check on that. Congress needs to make sure that there is accountability. And that's what it is. I want to go to DC and make sure. Yes, I'm going to bring this to you.
So this is not a new power from Congress. This is what our founding fathers had in mind when they developed the
Exactly.
first place. Our problem is that our representatives, as they stand, whether they're regardless of what side of the aisle they're on, don't have the courage to stand up to that burden or to reach in the White House. So what is it that you can say to us that tells us that you're not afraid of losing your position because somebody tries to message you, that you will stand up and say, this is not right, it's unconstitutional, it's illegal, and we're going to do something about it, because they have the opportunity to do it now, they're just not.
Exactly. First of all, what people lose track of when they get into office is that their bosses, you, the people who have elected us, you would be my boss. And I was quoted in the Bradenton Times saying that I was only running for one term. That was a misrepresentation. Actually, they misunderstood. What I was saying is that even if, because of my positions, that all kinds of money comes after me and I'm only a one-term congressman, then so be it. Because I'm going to stick with my principles. I'm going to be true to what it is that I'm saying. My position, my job as a news anchor and reporter was to tell the truth, follow the facts wherever they lead. I don't care if it points bad toward Democrats or Republicans, follow the facts where they lead, make sure the facts are uncovered and deal with it at that point in time. That's what I'm going to do. If I turn out to be a one-term congressman, so be it. But as long as the people of this district want me to be there representing them and working for them, I will be there. I will do that. And after I've served my purpose, then I'm home.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Anything else? All right. Well, it's a pleasure. So I'm asking that. Yes, sir.
And I felt okay. I'm way back to me being a young kid, cornflakes Saturday morning, watching Scooby Doo, Schoolhouse Rock. Anybody remember Schoolhouse Rock?
Yeah.
That was my fascination with government.
Yeah.
You know, how to make a bill. Remember that? Man, I was like, wow, this is easy. For I don't think I saw any Bentleys out in the parking lot. I don't see no butlers and all that high end stuff. We are St. Pete. And the way that they recut the district, I know you've had to meet a lot of people,
Yes.
you know, really quick.
Yes.
But my question is, for Southside St. Petersburg, what would be the top 3 priorities that you would bring something back? Please keep in mind by the young folks, because it's beyond the flock camera. three top things that you would be bringing back as a legislator.
Number one, food assistance. Food assistance has been cut by this administration. We have to make sure that we have that restored. I would want to be a part of the agriculture committee, not because of farming or anything, but it happens to be that food assistance, the SNAP program is underneath the agriculture committee. So I want to be a part of that committee to make sure that's restored. We can claw back that. When it comes to environmental justice, you know what you've been dealing with here in Childs Park for decades right now. Want to make sure that the focus is there because a lot of people don't know about it. That's a problem. How are you going to get anything done if people don't know about it? We have to make sure that there's a big spotlight shining on this. And then when it comes to healthcare for everyone, making sure that the programs that are in place, Medicaid, Social Security, Medicare, that these programs are protected. So did I answer your question well enough?
Yeah, that question.
Yes,
Yes. Sorry about the disturbance, the water bug.
that's okay.
Does that sound like an answer to you guys? Yes. Okay. All right.
And I'm always open for any of you to call me at any time, always reach out. And I promise you this, I go to DC, that's not going to be the last you see of me. I will be back here again and again and again. And if I'm not doing what I said, hold my feet to the fire. And if you don't like what I'm saying, get rid of me. That's the way the system works.
Amen.
Yeah.
Come on, give him a big hand. Once again, this is a nonpartisan event. We're not endorsing anyone, but I will say this. Who shows up now? I can't say that part, but. All right, so please get my. Thank you. All right, then. We're gonna hand the microphone over to my brother Nate here, and we're gonna move on. Nobody needs to break. There are some questions and things back. It is a little more, I thought, like me. Wow.
It comes and goes.
We're moving into state government now. State office. I mean, no further ado.
Hey y'all, thank you again for taking the time to be out here. Seeing a lot of new faces in the building. Seeing a lot of new faces in the building. So just briefly want to reiterate the ground is okay. We want this to remain as respectful and discourse as possible. So just keep in mind that we're engaging the ideas, not the people themselves. And if you have any questions or if there's any room for conversations, please pull one of us to the side and we can work through it. I would like to take the time now to introduce Ms. Keandra Garland.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hold the card. You run the show. Every time.
Well, hello, good people. My name is Keandra Darling, and I'm no stranger to this community. In fact, my family has been here in St. Petersburg for 4 generations now. I come from a family who's worked in the space of city services. My grandmother retired as a city planner and helped to put together the plans that ultimately became Dell Homes Park on the south side. She is still the president of the Lake Memorial Neighborhood Association. And my grandfather is one of the proud people that brought South St. Pete the game of golf through the first tee program, which is still operating out of the Twin Oaks facility. And so my family knows what it means to stand in the paint for this community. My family knows what it means to advocate unapologetically for the people who live here, for the people who work here, for the people who raise their families here, and for the people who are retiring here. My run for office is simply to carry that work forward. I believe the people who represent us in Tallahassee have lost touch. As a convinced, but the issue facing District 62. This state house district covers parts of South St. Petersburg and also South Hillsborough County. So they intentionally cut us across the water into parts of Progress Village, Claremont, Riverview, and Gibsonton. I believe that this seat is an opportunity to serve as a bridge, because too often we operate in silence. And so not only will I advocate for the people here in South St. Petersburg, but I'll be looking for that alignment over in South Hillsborough County. Finding partners from both sides of the bridge to build coalition in order to bring back real relief for the people who live here. I will fight in Tallahassee first and foremost to lower cost for the people who live and work here. We need to raise the wages to ensure that the people who work in this area can afford to live here.
Right.
We need to invest in affordable housing solutions, in triplexes, in duplexes, and being more flexible and allowing people to build accessory dwelling units so they can make money off of their own land. We have to protect our education. As a working mom, I'm really concerned about the direction right now of our education. We know that choice is something that parents are taking advantage of, but that's fine. But all of the students need to be funded equitably, no matter where they're receiving their education. Whether they are at home, whether they're in a public school or a charter school, a private school, we need to ensure that the funding is meeting the needs of the students and that our educators, our support staff, our administrators are paid enough money to actually prepare our students for success. We need to protect our healthcare. There's so many people that are having trouble trying to afford life-saving medication. This is not a matter of left or right. This is about the people who deserve access to real preventative care, who deserve access to living a healthy life. And I will fight to expand healthcare access and to ensure that that's inclusive of mental health services and substance use treatment. Because as a daughter of someone who lost his life to the battle of drugs and addiction, I know the importance of making sure that people are protected and they have access to recover and that they are treated with dignity in that process. And last but not least, St. Pete, we know that we have an issue with violence inside of our communities, because the resources are not covering South St. Pete the way that they need to. And so I'll ensure that there are enough resources to make our community safer, to prepare our students and to make sure that our youth are engaged in activities that keep them moving in the right direction. And that we're investing on the south side. And I look forward to answering any questions that you all have for me.
Thank
I just want to say thank you again for the powerful testimony. Before any questions we have, I'm going to take a chance to open it up to the audience for any questions that you may have after hearing.
1 minute question, 1 minute answer.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
What area? What area does your district cover? Because I heard you say Claremont and a couple other areas. And then what would be your number one priority?
So specifically in South St. Petersburg, like Central Avenue, they start to move towards Child's Park, that line, and then it's a little further north. And then all with very little time, rush legislators to push this in front of us. Because they are banking on people who are hurting to be desperate enough to take the bait. And so when you ask what will we do and what should we cut, first and foremost, what we need to do is we need to all band together and educate our community on what's really at stake here. We need to make sure that people know, because otherwise they're just hearing that they can save some money and they're going to jump at that. What they're not hearing is how the quality of their lives will be impacted as a result of those cuts. And I can promise you, what we lose will be far more than what you will gain. So I ask that we come together, educate our communities, vote no on Amendment 3, and afterwards come together to figure out how we're going to fill those gaps if it does pass.
I'm sorry, because she's bringing me real late, bro. Too late or. Just a special concern. I don't mind, and I know you only got 1 minute. But our young black men and our youth are fighting valuable lives, you don't realize. Are there any particular policies you will pursue or any type of legislation you could at least drop in the hopper pertaining to just instead of me making it, hook us up. We are still people. And the other side of the equation is if you go by the zip codes and the numbers, you're gonna have a lot of returning citizens that are in your in the zip code of the district you represent. I knew Representative Diane Hart. She was a fighter for returning citizens. And okay, so would you have any quick, let's
Okay, so we can start with our. Thank you, I really appreciate that. Well, good afternoon. Oh, come on.
Good
I
afternoon.
know, it's hot here though, it's hot, it's just got me ready to nap already, I just got here. But as was mentioned, I'm Citrus Crystal, thank you so much, Amber. It's a delight to be here. I serve right now as a state representative in Florida House District 67, which is much of Northampton and North Hillsborough County. But I'm running for District 16, Senate District 16, which includes where we are right now. I have served for 8 years in the Florida legislature. In 4 of those years, I've served as the leader of the Democratic caucus in the Florida House of Representatives. I'm the first Black woman to lead either party in the Florida House of Representatives. I know what it's like to be on the front lines fighting the extremism that we've seen from Tallahassee and that we've seen from Washington, D.C. Leading my caucus, we are deeply in the minority and we can count and the math is hard. We still get up every day and fight for your freedom to be healthy, prosperous, and safe. And that's a big part of why I'm running. I'm running because I believe that this district deserves a fighter because times are tough in Florida and times are tough in Tallahassee. I grew up nearby in Polk County in Lakeland. My mom was a public school teacher for over 35 years. My dad worked with public for the honor shopping near Planet. I have 3 sisters. We probably have 3 minutes. We're 3 minutes. Okay. That's all right. I'm going to continue. So excuse for interruption. Just want to make sure I'm being respectful of time. Long story short, I have 3 sisters. My parents weren't able to give us wealth, generational wealth, but what they did give us is a work ethic. They taught me to work hard. They taught me that the people around you are worth fighting for, that communities are worth standing up for. Every vacation, every summer vacation was in Greensboro, North Carolina, where my mom is from. And she would take us to the World War lunch counters where it all started with the students from A&T, North Carolina A&T University, and taught us about advocacy at a young age. And that was planted in my heart. So I'm so grateful to be able to serve in this capacity because indeed it is what is allowing me to live out my dream. With a public school education from Imperial Polk County, Imperial, that is not a good nickname. If you know the history, you know that is a reference to the KKK. From Imperial Polk County, a little Black girl growing up in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s was able to go to Harvard University. That was my dream on a public school education. I want every student to have that same opportunity. But what we're seeing right now with our schools in terms of funding is abysmal. Under this governor, Florida went from 48 and teachers paying to 49 to 50. There are only 50 states. We are dead last. When it comes to this district, which includes gems such as East Tampa and South St. Pete, we have got to press to make sure that we get the resources in this district. Even though I haven't represented this part of the district, I've already been fighting for you. I secured funding for Lincoln Cemetery. Our historic Black cemeteries has been a passion of mine. I got legislation passed to make sure that we are recognizing and protecting our history through those cemeteries. I worked with Senator Bill Rusan to establish the Mayoral Sickle Cell Disease Center of Excellence right here in St. Pete to make sure that those patients can get access to care. So I'm a fighter with proven results, and I would love to earn your vote and to be the fighter for Senate District 16. Thank you. Well, let me know if you guys can hear me in the back. I got a little bad. Well, hello everyone. Come on, y'all. Hello, it is good to be home. But I'm Michelle Rayner. Before I get into my spiel, I've got to recognize a very special woman in this house. My aunt May Ferguson. May Francis Ferguson is in the house. She is my father's first cousin, but she is like my auntie, so it's so good to be here and see you. My name is Michelle Rayner. I am currently your state representative. It feels like coming home, and it's been so great to be able to serve you for the last 6 years. For those who do not know me, I know you may have got some mailers that have called me back Michelle or Michelle the best. And guess what, y'all? I'm just a round-the-way girl from Clearwater with some roots in St. Petersburg, just trying to serve people. And if I am a mess, I'm a mess because this state is a mess. I'm a mess, and I'm concerned, and I'm emotional about what's happening in our city. I'm concerned about why we are in this minority. I'm concerned why we do rank 49th in education. I'm concerned that as we are sitting right here in Child's Park, this is a food insecure area, that there are no actual grocery stores that are wanting to come and build here. I'm concerned that we have a property insurance crisis. So if I'm a mess, that's why I'm a mess. Because guess what?
our people deserve to have folks who are concerned. And so y'all know me. I don't have to introduce myself. For those who don't know, I've been a lawyer here for the last 15 years. I've represented families throughout this area. I have worked hard to make sure that you have a voice in Tallahassee, making sure that money has come back to this district. So for those who don't know the district currently, I represent State House District 62. So you can hear from Keandra Darcy, who's running for my seat. I've endorsed her. But that district goes from St. Petersburg to Tampa. So I've already represented about 40% of this district. I've already represented you for 6 years in the legislature. I've knocked on your door when it wasn't an election time. I came and talked to you when I didn't need anything from you. I came and talked to you when I just wanted to know how you were doing. And so listen, y'all, we're going to get into this. There's been an attempt for folks to influence this election, to buy this election, because they think we're done. They think the audience is done, and we're not. And I am asking you for your vote, either now, I mean, you can vote right now, or come August 18th, because right now there's so much on the line. And I've always fought for you. I've always been unapologetic in my voice. I will continue to be unapologetic, because this moment calls for boldness. It doesn't call for folks who are just going to do what they need to do to get by. But this moment calls for the leader that I've always been, the leaders that all of us in this room together, because we have partnered together on so much, have always been. So whether it's I'm on the ballot, but also I'll challenge you later, whether you're in your community, this moment calls for bold, unapologetic leadership. That's what I've always done. That's what I'll continue to do. I look forward to the conversation. That's also my favorite. That's why you're not mine.
So we're gonna start with questions from the crowd. If you have questions for our representatives, if you could come up and ask the questions. 1 minute questions, 1 minute answers.
Y'all ain't got no questions. Oh boy.
You can. Who are you? Tony H. Jones. Hey, Tony. H is out. H is out.
All right.
Now look at the text. I'm damn sick. Both been running for office. Running out of office. I'm just asking, get in office. Do we have the country? That's all. Do we have the country? Or would you do something so we can see? Or do we have the country? That's what we see.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. That's a great question.
No.
This gentleman asked, when you get into office, are we going to have to concrete you there? And when you get there, if you stay there, are you going to do anything for us to actually see you? Will your record speak for itself? Is what it sounds like we're doing.
Okay.
So the answer is yes. The answer is yes. And I think a good predictor of future behavior is past behavior. And when we talk about track record, one of the things that I've done, I mentioned the Sickle Cell Disease Center of Excellence here. There are 9 more to be established across the state. Florida has one of the highest populations of sickle cell disease patients in the nation. We were able to get $10 million in recurring funding to make sure that our people are getting access to the healthcare they need. I've gotten funding for maternal health studies. We worked together to get an extension of Medicaid for moms postpartum after they give birth from 3 months to 12 months. I've been able to get money, I mentioned, and establish an Office of Historic Cemeteries to protect our history through our Black cemeteries. Over $20 million in funding for our HBCUs after there was a racially motivated shooting that started on Edward Porter's College. A police reform bill that has now created a duty statewide. If an officer sees another engaging in what appears to be excessive force, they now have a duty to intervene. And many more pieces of legislation, too many to mention. But what I do to suggest is that when you have time and opportunity to serve, you have to do something with it. So no, you will not even have to seek me out. I will be seeking you out. Working for you.
So, Mr. Jones with the H silent, I can, well, I say thank you. To answer your actual question, I can talk about legislation. I think there will be time to talk about that. But you're asking, how can you actually see people and touch them? Here's the deal. People who know me, they'll see me, on the juices, they'll see me on Night Street, they'll see me in Publix, they can come to my office, I don't dodge phone calls. Folks, I see my people from the co-op here, they know that they have come to my office and reached out. Because at the end of the day, nobody wants anybody sitting in the ivory tower. Yes, sir. You had a question? You have another question for me? Okay, which one will you go to? Which one you go to? The one 34th and second was the, okay, I prefer that. And that's amazing that he has that opportunity to actually work at Walmart, to do the things that he's done. And so, I mean, that's amazing. But what I'm saying is that accessibility is not just about passing legislation, it's about where are you in the community when you're on a obstacle, where are you in the community when there's not an election happening, where are you in the community when you don't need, when I don't need you to a transaction, I don't need you to vote for me in order for me to knock on your door. Am I knocking on your door correctly? Thank you. Are there any other questions from the crowd? What's your stance on Nelson? I don't think so. I think I started twice, but I know you're not going to. That's fine. So my stance on data centers is very clear. So one, there was a bill, I believe it was Pt.2 that would allow data centers to be present in the state of Florida with restrictions. I voted in no. And the reason I voted it down, I'm actually the only candidate in this race that actually was called for a moratorium in writing on data centers. Number one is that we don't have enough information about data centers. The legislature loves to do, studies. We don't know the effects on data centers here in Florida. What we do know is that it's going to skyrocket our electricity. What we do know is going to cause water pollution. What we do know is that eminent domain can happen. What we do know is that with the bill that has been signed into law, that they can sign, that elected officials can sign NDAs. What we do know is that there is not much transparency when it comes to data centers. So, and what we do know is that I'm the only candidate that's not been affiliated with the data center. I'm not taking any money, but then my opponent has been affiliated with them while they called me all kinds of things that aren't true on my record. So that's what we do know about data centers. What we do know is they want to come in our community, they want to harm our community. And as of right now, in Harville, I don't believe they need to exist in Florida until we know what's going on.
Thank you for the question. So to be very clear, I think the record needs to be corrected. I have called for a moratorium on data centers. In Tampa Bay, where we are experiencing the drought, you have no business bringing data centers. I have spoken with local officials, local Democratic officials, to make sure that they were on the same page, and they are. Senate Bill 484 is a bill that, yes, I'm a candidate who voted for it, and I'm proud that I did. And I'm surprised that my opponent is proud that she didn't. This is a bill that restricts data centers, that says that they cannot charge the people around them for their electricity. It says that you have to watch the water that they use. It says that local governments have to be involved. And it says that local governments can mandate that you are not using fresh water, but instead that you are using reclaimed water. In Tallahassee, it's difficult. We are in the minority party. In order to get things done, you have to be able to work across the aisle. It means the bills aren't necessarily perfect, but you have to fight to approve those bills and put them in a good position. That is what many of us, including many progressive Democrats who endorsed my opponent, did on the data center bill. We have got to make sure, and I'm not affiliated with data centers. I'm not affiliated with any of those mailers that my opponent is talking about that went out. I am not. I did not send those out. And it's your responsibility that I did. Thank you. So I've spoken about you about the data centers before, so I'm sorry to bring this up, but
There are preemptions at the state level that even as a city council person, if I were elected, I couldn't do anything about. I've made a commitment to my constituents that if I have to, I will come and talk to you guys in Tallahassee. So if that were to happen, if I did have to come up to Tallahassee and talk to you guys about what is going on down here, it would help in St. Pete and other municipalities of the state to get rid of those preemptions that stop us from limiting people or data centers from coming in. For instance, there's a preemption for the data center that they want to build up by Getty in my district. There's a preemption that we can't limit businesses in areas that were hurricane affected, which of course we were. This whole peninsula is. So one of the things that we're looking at is to get rid of that preemption or to change it so that we are able to limit the data centers. And the other portion is looking at local legislation that will limit businesses' effect on the environment around them, specifically the Bay Area where they would be dumping their hot water into the water and increasing the temperature of the water typically by 2 or 3 degrees, which would kill all of our oysters, get rid of the dolphins, etc. Would you back that up?
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for that question. So this is why moratorium is important. But what you're raising is an equally important issue about preemption. This is a problem in Tallahassee. The Tallahassee politicians are telling you that they know your community better than you do. That's what all these preemption bills are for. This is why, by the way, I know we're not talking about the free property taxes. We must go back down when it comes up in November because Tallahassee is trying to run their lives. So yes, I would support repealing those preemptions because you need local governments to be involved. In fact, that's why Senate Bill 484 has some good provisions in it to make sure that local governments have to stay involved anytime there's a conversation about data centers. The environmental impacts of data centers are well known and well documented. Even though we're not so sure how it would impact here, I think we have a good idea. And it's important that we elect local officials who also align on those values to make sure that we're protecting our environment, that we're protecting ratepayers, that we're making sure that our water source is still available for us to drink and to enjoy. This is one of the biggest concerns that I have about these. I'm also honored to tell you that the Florida League of Cities and the Florida Association of Counties have honored me with awards as a local government champion and as a fighter against preemption multiple years in a row because I don't believe that Tallahassee should be trying to run at the local level.
So thank you so much for that question. One, preemption is probably one of the worst things we can do in Tallahassee. I too have been awarded those same awards by the League of Cities and Association of Counties. When we're specifically thinking about data centers, I think that we actually have a conversation in truth. Because what the data centers allow, the preemption they allow loopholes for private sites with your electricity bill. There's no mandate from data centers to inform any of you that they're actually going to come to your neighborhood. They allow elected officials to sign NDAs that they can be also placed within 5 miles of the sewer. So, folks, to your example, if you get on city council and you say we don't want this data center to be placed near a school, guess what? The bill that my opponent voted for, that she says is right, allows them to do that, and there's really not much power you can. There's not really much you can do on the city level or the county level. So once again, when we're thinking about moratoriums, when we're thinking about preemption, I think we owe the people to have a conversation that's based in truth and based in fact. And at the end of the day, I understand that people said it out. I see I'm going to cross the aisle, pass away my legislation, but I'm not going to pass legislation that will harm this community not on my watch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more questions from the crowd? No? Okay, the moderator has 2 questions for you. So, this is the last question on data centers. I'm sure you already made about data centers. The South Carolina Energy Coalition is fighting for community benefits for communities that are affected by data centers and substations that are really data centers that are under the threshold of SB 484. So how will you support community benefits being mandatory, whether it's a substation, data center, or a large local data center? I'm sorry about that. That's fine. It's great that you asked that question because I'm working with partners on both sides of the bridge right now, specifically with that. know what community it is. Because here's the thing, once again, these data centers are going to come into our community. What we know is that they should look for land that is the cheapest. They should look for land that can be in the domain. And it's really y'all, it's our community that's holding back, right? It's our electricity. It's us having to deal with, pollution. So I think one of the things that when I get like this is that it that we need to revisit Senate Bill 44, we need to actually look at what has happened, some of the concerns the community has had. What I love about being in the legislature is that you can always fix bills, you can always fix laws. There are glitches that we can fix in the bills and solutions we got to look at, but ultimately it's a community conversation. And it really starts with coming to the community and having those conversations, which I've already been having.
Thank you. I think that's actually one area where my opponent and I agree, in the sense that we have to have conversations with the community about the benefits that you want. Some of them that I think would be fair to demand, not fair, but I just mean like we should be demanding. First of all, with respect to jobs, right? Because there's always this talk about, well, that is going to provide jobs. What kind of jobs? Are these temporary jobs? What are the benefits? Are there benefits? Can you unionize these jobs? What are the ways? So let's talk about that. Two, when we talk about environmental impact, I think we have to have clear understandings and community agreements up front about what can and cannot be done to our water sources and to the environment around us. The third thing is, and this is why, again, I'm not saying that 44 is a perfect bill. I'm saying that it's a bill that is the right step because it keeps our local government involved. I want government to be able to have that conversation, and to be able to have that conversation, and come to Tallahassee and say, this is what we will and will not do. This has to be a multi-pronged approach. You have to have the community involved, the local government involved, and Tallahassee involved to make sure that we are being protective of communities. And that's what that bill allows us to do.
Last question. Meta and other technology companies have extraordinary power over political communication, personal data, and what voters see. At the same time, candidates rely on those same platforms to advertise and reach voters. Where should Florida draw the line between regulating big tech and protecting free expression, and what specific regulation of Meta would you vote for today?
Well, I'm going to talk about this one as much, but there actually was a bill that I carried some years ago that was similar to the bill you passed right now, that was looking to protect kids in our schools from social media, understanding the harmful impacts of those. But I did. I'm not powerful enough to say that I would have a referendum on that, protecting their kids when it comes to social media. When it comes to regulating these social media companies, we have to start having conversations about the algorithms that they are putting forward. Because it's not just that they're showing you fun things and recipes and cute puppy videos. They're literally training, especially our kids, on how to think. And we know that it has harmful effects. We know that sometimes it has led to suicidal ideation. We know that it's led to self-harm. And so when it comes to how we regulate these, we need to make sure that we're protecting our kids. We need to have stronger regulations against the use of AI, particularly when it comes to politics. That's the question in terms of how AI is used in political ads. We've already seen some really damaging things, even about Kamala Harris and the Obamas. Heck, I've seen AI used in my prior political campaign against me. So we need to make sure they can't weaponize that. And then the third thing I would say, I'm tired, honestly, of dark money influencing races. I'm tired of it. There's a lot of that even happening in my race that I didn't ask for. I don't think my opponent asked for it. And if we could reform campaign finance and how that happens, I think we would be all better off for it to eliminate that kind of spending in races.
Thank you.
She didn't get the answer. She didn't get the answer.
I think because my record is clear. So I'm the only kid in this race who's not taking money from Meta. They don't have a friend in me. I filed and passed HB1/HB3. I'm the first Democrat in 25 years to carry the Speaker's priority bill. And that bill was to protect children online. And it wasn't about speech, it was about the business design, addictive scroll, how they target our children. We've heard testimony time and time again of how Meta knows what they're doing to our kids and they don't care. And so I was the only person in this race that Meta wanted A. And there's a reason that they want to engage me because they know that when I go to the Senate, that they're not going to have a friend with me. The legislation that we passed right here in Florida has been modeled throughout the world. And in fact, I believe Meta has to pay New Mexico over $500 million based on the bill that was passed here in Florida, based on the work that I've done with my other colleagues to make sure that our children are protected. So I think that my record with regard to Meta is very, in social media is crystal clear. And we understand that like if adults want to use it, great, there should obviously be some safeguards as well. But when we're talking about dark money, I think that we also want to be very clear and not be disingenuous in our conversation. I'm not the one that is out here peddling and taking money from whomever in order to get elected. I'm actually taking money from the people and making sure that the people power campaign. And so that's what I'm going to continue to do when I get elected to the state senate. So thank you.
Amber, I would appreciate it. I said I would appreciate it so much, the opportunity to respond.
Let's go with 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Yeah. Because I think it's important because my opponent is insinuating that Meta has influence over me or that somehow I'm controlled by Meta, and not to take it further from the truth. If you want to go to campaign finance records, we can do that. We can talk about $10,000 contribution. We can do that from PCs controlled by Republicans.
One at a time. One at a time. One at a time.
We can talk about $10,000 contributions from PCs controlled by Republicans. We can talk about campaign finance. I don't enjoy the way campaign finance works. Let me just start there. I really don't. I think we should tighten the rules. I don't like that the Supreme Court has said that corporations are people too. I don't like that. But to suggest that by receiving a contribution, you necessarily, the individual who gave it to you has influence over you, that is absolutely wrong. I wouldn't say that about my opponent, by the way. That's not wrong. Our records have to speak for themselves.
So I will say this, but actually didn't say that. I just said I was accepting money. So whether, it's all $1. So at the end of the day, when we're talking about who receives money from whom, I think we have to be very clear. We all have received money from different PCs that may or may not have been controlled by Republicans, but I don't have that on my report. I don't have energy on my report. I don't have big sugar on my report. I don't have the entities on my report that harm Black people every chance they get. I don't have that on my report. And there's a reason that I have my report. And there's a reason that there have been no negative feelings, no negative statements about my opponent, but it's about me. So I think that, the voters should ask themselves why.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take one more question from the crowd. My question is, the privacy issues surrounding around lock cameras. How can they draw the line where there's no unlawful or the privacy of someone's privacy?
Thank you. Thank
Repeat. Oh. I did. Oh, it's you. Okay. Well, thank you so much for the question about block cameras. Obviously, this has become a big issue. So I have a real problem. I think as a girl defense attorney, I have a very big issue with block cameras and how they're being utilized in unlawful arrest. One, I think that we need to legislate on it. I think that cities should not use them right now. I think that additionally, that if they're being used for unlawful arrest, that to me goes into, and this is getting nerdy as a criminal defense attorney, that goes into like fourth and fifth amendment issue for unlawful search and seizure. That's very problematic for me because once again, we have a constitution for a reason. And I feel like there are times that the government will try to find ways to skirt the Constitution and skirt the Fourth Amendment. So right now, as it stands, if they're being utilized for that, I think that legislation just quite simply needs to be filed and passed, saying that block cameras cannot be used in lieu of having the actual procedure of getting a warrant and doing all these things and having a lawful arrest. So. Thank you. I think there's been enough information to show us that block cameras are unreliable. And even though they're trying to capture the licenses, they don't always do it right, and then once the data is captured, it's not always stored well. So I think your question is timely. This might be something that I have to see brought up before the legislature in a major way. So I think it's something that probably could garner bipartisan support and that we could look forward to working to in the future. Thank you.
Without even so much of a discussion. No testimony. Yeah, I know. Decades ago. And that's why our red light cameras are turned off. That's unconstitutional, that we don't want them, so it's, yes, I would.
So I was wondering that we actually sent out not even like a photo, just like communication that only spoke through my official office, so that was also my campaign with regard about that, letting folks know that this is an issue with the fall cameras. And like I'm very concerned because obviously all of the work that I do, and a lot of times I feel in the community who have been kind of coming to me with this concern. And so I will agree with my point, and I do think that this is something that the legislature needs to look at. I do agree that I think it will garner bipartisan support because this issue has such a everybody, right? You know, just the Democrat or Republican, black or white, such as everyone, that much support.
Yeah.
Thank you. There are no more questions.
Okay. 5 minutes and we're gonna keep let them come up and start it.
Okay, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. We're gonna get Representative Ryder, and Representative Brooks. Okay. Everyone's gonna take a 5-minute break.
And then
Back to the next
this
one.
one, yeah. I like that. Sounds good. Yeah, y'all did good. Yeah, y'all did.
specifically the call program, the community assistance and life liaison program where social workers answer non-violent 911 calls. Today, I am the CEO of the Children's Network. It is a child welfare lead agency. Kids that are in the foster care system, and that has kept me very, very busy, overseeing about 2,000 kids and over 450 foster parents. So that certainly has kept me busy, but I am ready to step in. My skills are very transferable. I'm ready to step in and serve the city of St. Pete. I look forward to your questions. Thank you so much.
You shouldn't. Can you hear it? Does it work? Yeah. Working? Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. My name is Doug Homeyer, and I'm not a lifelong resident. I was born in Texas. I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, but I've been here for 7 years. And since COVID, I've got out and worked hard to meet as many people as I can. I know a lot of people at downtown and the south side because when I go into a room, I try to introduce myself to everyone. I want everybody to know who I am and how I can help you. The reason I'm running for city council, we're running for city council, is to focus on the budget. My background is finance. I got a degree in finance, advanced diploma, designations in insurance business like car financial consultant. I'm working on my certified financial planner, so I know numbers. And our budget is something we got to get in control. It's $1.2 billion, and we never have enough money. So that's one thing I want to work on: the food desert. I want to work on the trash, the noise. I go around the city, everyone has a different issue. Because I always say, what is your relief? What is something that you have a problem with that I can help you with? And one thing I want to do in office, every month, I want to focus on another problem. That's 12 problems I want to accomplish during the first year. And the only way I can do that is by talking to you, finding out what's wrong, and us working together. Because it's not about me, it's about us. For the people of St. Petersburg in District 6. And if I can help any other way else, I will. Thank you so much.
My name is Jamaica Williams, and I am running for city council because I feel that government should be transparent, accessible, and I think the benefits coming to our community from developers to stretch across all of St. Pete. Everyone needs to feel those changes, and everyone needs to benefit the money that's coming into St. Pete. I also want to protect the integrity of our city. I've been a community organizer here for several years with multiple nonprofits. I started organizing with the St. Pete Tenants Union to call for more affordable housing here in St. Petersburg during COVID, where people were experiencing homelessness and housing instability at rates we never seen before. And I started a blog called Housing is Human to help connect people to city resources and to make sure that people are able to stay in their homes. But I've also worked on environmental rights, LGBTQ and reproductive rights as well. And I'm also active in the art community here as well. I want to work on expanding affordable housing, protecting our environment, increasing public transportation, and bringing well-paying jobs here to our city. Thank you so much, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay, great. My name is Lindsay Grove. I'm running for City Council District 6. I know that we're technically in District 7, but it's really great that we're having this event. I know there are some people who live in District 4 here, but also after the primary, the general will be a citywide election. So 2 of us up here will be on your ballot in the general on November 3rd. My background is I am a trained public health professional. I've worked in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors, both, as a public health professional, but also doing grant writing and nonprofit support. I currently co-own Pt.2 Collaborative, which is a network of small businesses who supports 66 nonprofits right here. I'm very, very passionate about making sure that we are collaboratively working together. That's how we're going to solve a lot of our systemic issues here. Child Park is a very special place in my heart. I've worked with the neighborhood association a few times in my role as president of the League of Women Voters. We worked on the smell campaign that was going on here. Obviously, it was still a continuing issue, but one of the cool things that we got to work on was citizen science, so getting people involved in measuring air, which is really, really important. I really truly believe that community engagement is what's going to further, our problem solving in terms of how we address the issues here in our neighborhoods as well as citywide. And I would just say that, I really appreciate everybody here today. I'm the only candidate that qualified by petition, meaning I gathered 500 petitions to be on the ballot, and I'm ready to work hard for every single one.
Thank you. Check. Good afternoon. My name is Trevor Mallory, and I'm running to be your next city council member for District 6. I'm the only candidate that sits up there here to say that I'm born and raised right here in St. Petersburg, Florida. I've been here 54 years. I grew up in Lakewood Estates. I went to Mayoral Elementary, then I went on to Bay Point Middle School. I went to Lakewood High School, where I graduated in 1991 and was also drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays right out of high school. So I know what the importance of teamwork looks like. And when you're a city council member, I'm a coach. I'm very coachable, and I'm a listener. So I'm running for city council to help the city of St. Petersburg move forward in a better place. I'm a husband of 21 years this November, and I'm a father of 4 daughters. Being that I'm a father of 4 daughters, you guys should already understand I have a whole lot of patience in my body. All right, because I'm a calm guy. I'm also the candidate up here that got endorsed by the Tampa Bay Times. I'm also the candidate up here that has the sitting councilwoman's endorsement in Gina Driscoll. I'm the candidate that has Carl Nurse's endorsement, who held the seat before Gina Driscoll, and also Pastor Frank Peterman, who held the seat before Carl Nurse. Experience matters. I have the experience, and I am the one that stood for this seat. I was also the president for the Democratic Black Caucus for the entire state of Florida for the last 4 years. I just turned out last April. So when you need someone in this seat, District 6 is the most diverse district in our city. We have the richest of the rich, and we have some of the poorest of the poor. So we need someone who can bridge that gap. And I'm that person. I'm a product of what St. Pete can create when we all come together. Growing up in my life, I had a lot of assistance from people that did not look like me. And I understand that I don't take that for granted. So I'm here to give back to my community. That's why I brought my family. I've traveled the world with baseball, but I brought my family back to St. Pete because this is where I want to live. This is one of the most beautiful cities I've been in, and it can get better. So I'm here to make it grow to be better. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. So at this time, we want to ask if there are any questions that the audience has before we get into our questions. My name is Mike Harris. I live in District 6 also from St. Pete. My question is, where the old Okina Key Plaza used to be, it's a vacant lot, and we heard promises and promises of a grocery store. Now y'all are representing District 6, that's in your district. What do you plan to do about bringing something there? Because it is a diverse area, like you said. There's no reason to be a food desert. When if you go down 54th Avenue and 34th Street, you got 2 Publix right there in walking distance. And there's nothing over here. What kind of excuses can you give us of why we ain't gonna have it, this and that? And my other question.
Thank you very much. We'll start with Trevor. Yeah, thank you for the question. And if you got, I have some flyers here. I didn't put any on the back table, but on my platform, it has addressing our local food desert in South St. Pete. And that's let everybody be clear that the only way we have a food desert is in South St. Pete. Because when I go north, and you said it, I can see a Publix across the street from another Publix. Well, around the corner, there's another Publix. So there is some things we need to do to create and satisfy our food desert. Now, that shopping center you mentioned, I live cattle corner to that shopping center. And I also used to work for the owner of that shopping center, Mr. Phil Farley, before he sold it. So the new developers that bought it, it's independent money. So how much can we really save to an investor on putting a grocery store there? I know in the current plans that are written up that there is going to be access to a grocery store. We just got to find a qualified grocer that wants to entertain a contract and move into that space. It is owned by private money, so it's only so much we can do as a council person. All we can do is recommend it, and I have been working with the Kokeniki Neighborhood Association to make sure that whatever goes there, it's right for the community. And me living right across the street from it, I definitely would appreciate a grocery store there. That way I don't have to go so far. But on my platform, it is to address the food desert. And we need to also consider partnering with community grocery co-ops. And we do have that up and running here in St. Pete. We just got to get it more pushed out. We got to market it more. We got to get more people involved because it could be very important to that.
Thank you, Trevor. Before we go to our next candidate, I need to make an announcement. This is a gymnasium and our voices echo. So we want to give these candidates respect so that they can say what they need to say. So we're going to ask if anyone has another conversation, just step out the door while you have it so that we can give these folks the floor. Thank you. And we'll go to our next candidate.
Thank you. So as a public health practitioner, accessing not just food, but nutritious food is really, really important to me. In fact, my internship when I got my master's at USF was on food deserts and how to bridge the gap between food deserts and urban agriculture. But, you know, I live in Rosa Park, so I'm not that far. And, you know, the closest Publix to us is downtown. But, you know, there are many people who don't have cars, which is what creates food deserts, who have to rely on the bus system. It's very, very difficult to be able to, you know, lug your groceries to and from, even if there's a grocery store not less than a mile from me. So that particular plaza, I know that the current owner is waiting to sell the Lake Missouri Shores apartment complex to then fund develop that development. And I would work very, very hard to make sure that if it's a, you know, franchise grocery store, or if we can even create space for the one grocery co-op, that would absolutely be something that's put into that plaza. You know, as Trevor mentioned, it is private money, but I do think that there are potentially incentives that we can give. I also believe that there is opportunities to be innovative and think about even smaller grocery stores throughout the district that people can walk to. So that would be a couple of things I would look at and make sure I would advocate for as your council member.
Thank you. Let's go to the next candidate. And now, can everyone please allow the candidate to speak? We're still hearing a lot of chatter in the back. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
While I was working at USF St. Pete, we had several students who didn't have access to food. So I was a mentor for our urban forum that we have, the Mayoral food forums that we have on USF St. Pete campus. They also advocated for a program that we could get a refrigerator and a feedable pantry so that food from Airmark, I did the marketing coordinating for that program, so that we could give excess food to that program. So I understand what hunger means to especially students and young minds who need, you know, good food to continue to grow and be healthy. And things like diabetes touch the Black community much more than it does, especially because, you know, these Dollar Generals and stuff prey on those types of neighborhoods and they don't have access to healthy food. So I would look to fund things like the One Community Grocery Co-op. And also, if we're incentivizing developers, we can incentivize someone right here who owns a viable plot right here. I just saw they put a hot bins in that plaza. Why not a real grocery store? So we can give incentives to out-of-town developers. We can incentivize someone right here that's local to get them to put a real grocery store and have access to healthy food, not just another convenience store, corner store, which is chips and bananas that are rotting. Like, people need access to viable fresh food, and that is what I'm committed to working on getting.
Thank you very much.
Great question, by the way. I'm a finance guy. I put deals together. I've worked with big corporations doing the benefits. And when I'm out in the community, that's all I hear is the food desert. We need food. And one of the things, people can't just go get an Uber and go get food. That might cost them $20 more to go get that food. So this is very important to me. And this is one thing I will accomplish in the first year.
Terry has talked about the call program where they put a national thing. We need to put a national model together for the future. And I'll tell you what, when I'm talking to these people, if, excuse my language, but if I piss them off, that's okay. When you're riding a horse, you better kick it to get it going. And that's what I'm gonna do. And I'll say whatever I say. My daddy always taught me, son, you're at point A, you gotta get to point B. It's up to you how long it takes you. I'm gonna make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Ms. Terry.
Thank you. That's a great question. I do want to say that I am certainly not naive to understanding what is going on. Oftentimes, my husband and I will volunteer at Positive Impact, and seeing the amount of cars that come through on the Saturday morning is insane, but that it is absolutely necessary. So I recognize that we shouldn't just have the co-op. We should be working and to ensure that there are others that are coming forward to set up grocers. That's important. It's necessary. I have experience in ensuring that we partner with public and private partnerships. That's absolutely important. So whatever it takes to be able to ensure that we don't have food deserts, that shouldn't happen. Food shouldn't be a luxury. It should be a necessity. That's what it should be. And so we need to get to a place that it's a necessity, and we've got to ensure that our families are being fed properly. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much. So if anyone else has a question at the end of our questioning, we'll have a little bit of time for folks to chime in. But we're going to get started with the questions that we have set here. So just want to let everyone know the scope to city council authority is land use, district budget, ordinance, and oversight. And we will be starting with Ms. Terry, okay? And the first question is housing affordability. With housing being a quality of life issue, particularly in St. Petersburg South Side, what proposal would you advance to improve housing affordability, and which community groups would you work with to ensure those proposed meetings are
and land use just by putting multiple properties on one property. That is one way to address that. There's cattle housing, there's cottage housing, there's so many different styles of housing, but our archaic zoning and permitting laws is what's keeping us from moving forward. And those are things that I'd be looking at right away so that we can increase our affordable housing supply. Thank you.
Thank you. Next candidate.
Hello. So I look at affordable housing as a problem that has multiple solutions in a toolkit, right? I have been a member and been working very closely with YIMBY St. Pete, which is Yes in My Backyard, which is really focused on updating our current ordinances and zoning to ensure that we can, actually create more density and make it easier for people to build things like accessory dwelling units, and also not be, bogged down by having parking requirements in, high transit areas like on the Sunrunner. So those are some great ways that, we can certainly continue to implement. Recently, the state, passed the Yes in God's Backyard to make it easier for our faith-based organizations to develop affordable housing. And many of those are great because they have aging congregations who really do need a place to stay. The other thing that I really want to point out is that it's not just about creating new affordable housing, it's about preserving current affordable housing. We have a lot of older homes that have folks, that are on fixed income that certainly need help with repairs and rehab. In the CRA, there is money to help with furthering that and helping with roof repair. Those are some ideas that I think we should think about, and also really be very clear in how we address different types of housing needs. And again, there's a toolkit that we can use to help meet the needs of lots of different kinds of residents.
Thank you.
So we've heard a lot up here about affordable housing, and none of it really fixes the issue of affordable housing. I want to tell you what I've been doing for the last 15 years with affordable housing. I know how to implement affordable housing. The only way, one of the first things we need to do is figure out how do we restructure the city to become a landlord of housing. That's the only way we can control the rental rate or even home ownership. We can't tell investors to a certain extent what to do with their money, nor should we even be in that business. If we're not incentivizing these investors, how can we tell them what to do with their money? The way we fix the affordable housing problem, number one, is we start with renovating what's already existing. I've already renovated over 104 houses in South St. Pete. And I'm not just telling you this out of my mouth. You can go to the building department and see my names on thousands of documents through the permitting department. I know how to implement affordable housing. That's how we start. Number two, we need to work more with programs like Neighborhood Home Solutions, where I am currently the CEO and president of, which is a HUD certified nonprofit that specializes in housing counseling for first-time home owners. I am a fan of affordable renting, but I'm a bigger fan of affordable home ownership because people and their families need to find a way to build generational wealth. And the way you do that is through real estate and owning your property. So not only do I manage that, I also renovate existing properties and sell them affordably. I was the renovation, maintenance, and property manager for a billionaire group where I had access to $3 billion. We renovated 104 properties in South St. Pete. We sold them all affordably. And when I mean affordably, I mean 40% were rented to housing choice vouchers. Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
I can talk plenty about affordable housing.
Thank you very much. So at this time, we're going to move to our next question. The question is centered around district funding and deliverables. What earmark funding and specific deliverables are you prioritizing for District 6? And how will you help local organizations obtain state and federal resources? Got it? All right. And we're going to start with Trouble.
So earmarked, wow. I'm all about affordable housing. The slogan of my campaign is putting the ability back into affordability. That's one of the first things that I would like to challenge and tackle as a councilman in St. Pete for South St. Petersburg. Because number one, I know what it looks like and I know how to do it. And there's no way I will allow someone to tell me that affordable housing can't be done in St. Petersburg, Florida. I've done it for the past 15 years and I'm still doing it today. So we just got to do it now on a bigger scale. And the second part of that question was, what was the second part? What organizations?
And how will you help local organizations obtain state and federal resources?
So that's a good question, but that's a tricky question. Local organizations, nonprofits is the one I can think of the most. And the only way we do that is by partnering with our legislators in Tallahassee and some in DC, but I say we start statewide first, working with having those relationships, which I do have. I told you guys I was the president of the Democratic Black Caucus for the last 4 years for the entire state of Florida. So I have those relationships in Tallahassee where I can go and sit with any legislator that chooses to identify for me affordable housing to make sure that we make St. Pete affordable and help nonprofits grow themselves in the affordability arena.
Thank you. Next candidate.
This is a great question. Thank you for this. So my top 3 things are affordability, and obviously that includes housing, but it also includes, being able to access public transit to reduce your, costs in terms of cars. It also includes better support for entrepreneurs and small businesses. And the infrastructure piece, obviously, we have had 20 years of deferred maintenance, and we saw the culmination of how bad that can get in 2024. Many of our neighborhoods in District 6, like Bartlett Park, Harperdale, parts of Old Southeast, were, devastated by these 2 hurricanes. And part of that is because we really, truly need better upgraded infrastructure to protect those neighborhoods. And that's not just a District 6 issue, that's a citywide issue. So those things are super important to me. And the last thing I said was neighborhood support. It's really important that we continue to have great supported neighborhood associations and groups, because keeping people engaged as a part of this civic society is what is going to continue to move us forward. It's what's going to get us through our hard times when the city can't necessarily fund specific things. If it's, let's say we get rid of property tax, we are going to have to rely on each other. And so I really want to make sure that we are creating a great network of neighborhoods. And I have lots of experience doing nonprofit capacity building and public.
Thank you, candidate.
Thank you.
We'll go to the next candidate.
So my top priorities are making life more affordable by expanding affordable housing and public transportation, but also addressing our resiliency issue. But a bigger part for me is regaining local control of our government. There's a lot of preemption going on at the state level that is keeping local government from doing much more for their community, because a lot of our actions have been preempted. And so I want to continue building coalition. That's how I advance policy at working with the nonprofits that I have, is by building coalitions and going up to Tallahassee to fight back against our state legislature. So that's super important to me, because we're elected to do a job and we should be able to do it without our hands being tied. In order to do that, though, we need to be working with our nonprofits. I'm hearing people say, like, they didn't know about, August 18th and, during my canvassing. I always push out Vote 411 as a member of the League of Women Voters, but we need, again, more transparent and accessible government. And that means holding office hours outside of City Hall. Everyone cannot get to there on a Thursday in the middle of the day. We need to be holding office hours in coffee shops, at community centers, just like this one, so that people can have access. Also, our procurement process needs to be more transparent and available to people. There's a lot of people right here in St. Pete missing out on business because they didn't know simply.
Thank you, candidate.
I'll be the first to tell you I don't know everything, but I'll look you in the eye and say I don't know, but I'll find out. I find out a lot of things by going to city council every week. I'm there for 3 hours every Thursday. Listen to what they've got to say. I learn so much. I go to committee meetings. I go to the City of the Whole. I'm on the board of directors at the Chamber of Commerce. I'm the Downtown Waterfront Master Plan Chairman. and I'm on the St. Anthony's Foundation board. So I learn a lot of things by showing up and listening and doing the things. With that said, it's like I was at city council the other day, and have anybody heard of Firefly? It's Bowley. It's a bus that goes around for the mentally challenged people, like take a shower and do things. I said, I don't know anything about it, but I talked to Dima after that, and I said, now I know about it because you told me about it. So we learn every day by asking questions. And one thing is we tackle the housing issue. And I went to Yigby. I went to the program they had there where they're teaching the churches how to set up a 501c3 to be able to build this building on their property and provide that service. But what I do is I communicate to people. I have a board of directors. You might not even know you're on my board of directors, but I call you and we talk about life and things, and I learn a lot. And it goes back to what my dad said. If you're point A and you're point B, if there's something we got to do at Tallahassee, I'm going to pick up the phone. And if they don't give me a response, I say, look, these are your citizens too. We've got to take care of these people. Answer my call and make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the question. I think that what you'll find is that all the candidates here, our priorities are pretty consistent with one another. My commitment to you is that I do have the leadership experience in running a large agency. And so when I say I execute decisions, I execute decisions. So I think that that's very important to be able to make not only a decision, but the right decision. You asked about relationships in Tallahassee and at the state level. Currently, as a CEO in my career, my job, I have to have those relationships. Senator Darrell Roussan endorsed me several months ago, and if he were sitting here today, he would say I endorsed her because she does her homework. She has a passion for our youth and our vulnerable population. She does her homework, and she's going to make the right decisions. So I have those relationships already in Tallahassee, and certainly I would be willing and expect that I'm going to be tapping on those relationships so that we can look at funding here locally. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate. So we are running out of time, and I truly apologize to my candidates and to the audience. So we have time for one more question. So it looks like I have two people back here that have their hands raised. I don't know how to work through this, but go ahead.
My question is kind of simple, I will say, is there's a principle called your North Star, right? And I am going to try and find and read my North Star. It's very, very, it's not that long.
Hold on one second. I don't think the candidates can hear you.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna try to reach you. See if I can make it here.
Hello, okay, 1 minute. So there's a principle called having a North Star. So I am going to read my North Star and would like for you all to read or say what your North Star is. So my North Star is, care for one another is medicine to thrive, a shared practice worth effort. Supporting our neighbor's health builds my health. Community care supports my care. Building collective wellness strengthens our foundation, our neighbors, our lives, and our futures. So that is my North Star. What is yours?
Candidates are willing to answer this quickly. I might be able to get
Mine will be short and quick.
All right, yeah, real short. Like 15 seconds?
Not even.
All right, go ahead.
That's something very unexpected. My North Star, I guess, is to treat others as you expect to be treated. Make sure everybody's treated fairly across the board. That's my North Star, and that's how I raise my children, and that's how I go about my day throughout the day while I'm helping people become homeowners. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mine's also really simple. It's leave the campground better than you found it. We live in a society, we live in community together, and I really believe that we all should strive to make, things better for our neighbors, for our kids. I don't have kids, but I want to make our community great for the youth in our community and future residents.
Thank you, candidate. Next, you got 15 seconds. We're trying to get one more question in. All right, 15 seconds.
Mine is the slogan of my campaign, which is grounded in community. I'm a person that represents many facets of the community. I'm a Black, queer, working class woman, and so I care about everyone in this community. I want to make sure the benefits coming in are accessible and equal across the board, and that everyone is thriving here in St. Pete.
Thank you.
I'm gonna say my North Star is your North Star. That was pretty good. But on top of that, what I always tell people is when you ask me to do something, I'm gonna do it because I want to be able to see you again and look you in the eye and not have to run from you. Because what do people do if they don't do what they say they're gonna do? Is run from you. And I've always told my kids, I don't care if you tell someone you're gonna do it and you don't want to do it, just do it. You'll get through it. But you can't, you got it done. You can't ever go back and if you didn't get it done.
Thank you. Next.
Great question. My North Star is, I would say, yesterday's history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift.
Thank you so much. All right, so I did say we were going to do it quick, but we're taking time out of the next candidate forum, and we really don't want to do that, so we're going to stop. All right, but the candidates are here, and that's the purpose of us having this today. So thank you.
It's Bob, but he's here.
You're a lie. I said I'm gonna go to McDonald's and go back to the baby. You're a lie. So I'm not getting it.